planet Dolan.
From how King Tut died to hidden rooms in the Great Pyramid, we count 7 unsolved mysteries of ancient Egypt.
Hey everyone, my name is Melissa. I'm here to caress your brain cells with weird facts from all over the world.
Number 7. When people think of the mysteries that surround ancient Egypt, they may think about the pyramids or the pharaohs. Chances are, they don't think about something as mundane as shoes. The shoes that archaeologists found in a temple in Luxor are a different story. 7 were found in a jar and seem to have been forgotten by their owners, even though analysis of the shoes determined that they would have been expensive at the time because they were foreign made. 2 pairs were children's, which were 7 inches long. The single shoe, meant for an adult, was tied to them. Another pair of shoes were 9 inches long and were worn by a limping adult. Made of leather, the shoes weren't sandals that were the most common form of footwear in ancient Egypt. Perhaps the biggest mystery isn't that the shoes were found in a jar in a temple, or that they weren't the more traditional sandal for the time, but that these very expensive shoes were just abandoned by the owners. Number 6. We know that electricity didn't exist during ancient times, which makes what this carving depicts even more of a mystery. Discovered in the Hathor Temple at the Dendera Temple complex, this wall in a crypt has a carving which appears to show a light bulb. In actuality, Egyptologists believe it's really just a bunch of symbols from various pieces of Egyptian mythology. If you look closely, you will see a lotus flower emitting the Djed pillar, where instead of a filament, you'll see a snake. In Egyptian color, the Djed pyramid symbolizes stability, while the snake coming out of the flower symbolizes fertility. Even though the idea of the wall depicting various Egyptian symbols is a lot more realistic than the idea of electricity being around at that time, we can't help but think how much it looks like a light bulb. These are also ideas, which means nobody really knows. Number 5. Known throughout Egypt for her beauty, Egyptian Queen Nefertiti was the wife of Pharaoh Akhenaten, and was known as the ruler of the Nile and daughter of the gods. Then, in the 12th year of Akhenaten's rule, there is nothing about Nefertiti. It's like she suddenly vanished. Theories about this disappearance range from falling into disgrace, which has since been proven wrong, to ruling under a completely different name, Nefernuaten. She would have then died after just 2 years of ruling, only for her stepson, Tutankhamun, to become pharaoh. There hasn't been any conclusive evidence to support some of the theories of her disappearance. To add to the mystery, Nefertiti's mummy has never been found. Number 4. Speaking of Nefertiti, her stepson has a little mystery surrounding him as well. Unlike his stepmother, Tutankhamun's mummy was found, but the circumstances surrounding the pharaoh's death are a mystery. Tutankhamun, better known as King Tut, has many theories as to how he died. While some speculate that his death was caused by an assassin, most believe his death was accidental. There were also theories that King Tut suffered from various diseases, but most were proven wrong. In 2005, scientists gave King Tut's mummy a CAT scan, which revealed a leg fracture that had later become infected. Further tests also showed that he had malaria and a bone disorder, all of which could have been fatal, especially when combined. However, the mystery of King Tut's death continues to baffle scientists as evidence about how he really died remains inconclusive. Number 3. Most people have heard of the Sphinx, a statue of a mythical Egyptian creature located near the pyramids at Giza. Not many know that there is more than one, and it was found in northern Israel. While sphinxes have been discovered in other places, pieces of a second Egyptian sphinx was found by a team of archaeologists at the Tel Hazar excavation site in Israel. So far, only the feet, forearms, and face have been found. Hieroglyphic writing was found on the piece between the 2 feet. It was apparently created for Egyptian ruler Mycerinus, who built the smallest of the Giza pyramids. There are theories as to how the second sphinx made its way to Israel, but so far archaeologists haven't been able to come up with anything conclusive. This was the first time an Egyptian statue had ever been found in Israel. Could the Sphinx of Mycerinus be the only statue hiding under the dirt? Number 2. It is now being suggested that there was another pyramid at Giza. This one would have belonged to Djefra, who became pharaoh after Khufu. While the evidence is clear that a 4th pyramid did exist, it's debated among Egyptologists whether or not it was finished. The foundation is there, but the remains only rise about 10 meters from the ground. Archaeologists believe it had no connection to the pyramids in Giza, despite how close it was to them. In fact, Djeffer's pyramid may have been 722 feet tall if it were built. That would make it the highest ever built. But archaeologists just don't know if the massive structure was ever completed. Number 1. An international group of scientists started a project with the very catchy name, Scan Pyramids. While the name may not be terribly impressive, the project and their findings certainly are. While scanning the Great Pyramid of Giza using infrared thermography, among other forms of technology, discovered something mysterious. They discovered that the pyramid's limestone had very high temperatures. Being in the middle of the desert, this doesn't sound too surprising, but these high temperatures were only present in 3 of the limestone blocks. This makes scientists believe that there might have been 2 other rooms that have yet to be explored. They even believe that one of the rooms might have been the final resting place of Nefertiti. Hopefully, the scans of the Great Pyramid and others can solve the various mysteries that surround them.
Alright guys, new question of the day. What's the dumbest thing your partner's ever done while trying to be romantic? Let us know in the Reddit page linked below, and you might be featured in a future countdown.
That's all for now, guys. I'll catch you next week.
Anything that looks like a waterfall made of blood is going to be head-scratching for a lot of people. This site in Antarctica unoriginally dubbed Blood Falls because it looks like exactly that. Luckily, Antarctica is pretty much exclusively populated by scientists and penguins.